Ahoy VC, welcome to the Personal Oasis. This is the Blind Island. I'm your host Isaac, and today I'm going to be doing an album review. I'm going to do it in a little bit of a different fashion than I have in the past. Usually broke it up into giant sections, but today I'm just going to kind of go freeform and just let it flow, see how it goes. And today we are going to be talking about Dennis Wilson's Pacific Ocean Blue. This album, wow. I just recently got this one about a month ago, purchased it on eBay for $15. It's been an album that I wanted in my collection for quite some time. This album came out in 1977, same year that Beach Boys' Love You came out, and it was the only solo project from a Beach Boy that other than Brian Wilson, I want to say. I could be completely wrong, but Dennis here came out. It was the only, I know for a fact this was his only solo album, and I am blown away by that fact. I wish that Dennis had come out with some more solo material. He did start recording for a secondary album called Bamboo, but it was never released. Drug problems, legal issues, and personal life issues got in the way of ever completing it. So we're only left with this singular album from Dennis Wilson. When I listen to this record, I think of lost potential. I think of all of the directions that the Beach Boys could have gone in had it not been for infighting and really compilations coming out reminding people of how wonderful their 60s output, their Fun in the Sun material was, which is great, but I really loved that mid-70s period of the Beach Boys when they were really pushing their artistic boundaries, trying to go into a different direction. These albums weren't selling very well, however, they had a sonic integrity to them that was very, very different. And the Wilson brothers, particularly Dennis and Carl, since Brian was pretty much checked out by that time, were really trying to push the Beach Boys further. And when I listen to this album, I think of what sonic territories the Beach Boys would have been led in if Dennis had become the heir apparent to Brian after he had basically checked out from the Beach Boys. And I believe we would have gotten a series of albums that would have been dazzling, beautiful, challenging, and provocative. Because that's what I would call this record right here. It is rollicking, bombastic, and huge sounding. The production value on here is phenomenal. Dennis Wilson was never the greatest musician in the world, but I can tell that he was really studying his brother's abilities in the studio, because he made an album that was so wonderful sounding, coalescing multiple instruments. He took the large rock stadium sound that was coming out in the late 70s and made something even more glorious and a little bit more rough-hewn and shaggy than a lot of the others that were coming out around that time, such as Hotel California and Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. While those went on to sell multi-million dollar units and go on to diamond status, this album only sold about 300,000 copies, which is it's no slouch. He actually sold more, about the same amount of copies solo as the Beach Boys did with Love You. However, the Beach Boys' Love You was reissued multiple times, and this wasn't actually reissued until about 1996, so it kind of sat and languished. It has been rediscovered since then, but again, this is a rough, shaggy-hewn, bombastic record that has just streaks of absolute beauty. However, you can hear Dennis Wilson's broken, bleeding heart out on the plate. His once, once golden boy good looks have now been deteriorated through hard living and drug use, and you can tell that just right from looking at the cover. And that's what basically this album sounds like. That a man coming to terms with his past, his sins, and trying to find the beauty and hope in the future. Unfortunately, the ending of his story was not a happy one. He wound up passing away from drowning in the ocean in 1983, I believe, at the age of 33. And that is it's a real shame that he passed away so young and passed away in such a sad fashion. I believe he was either 33 or 38. I apologize if I have that number incorrect, but still far too young to pass away. But even despite that dark, gloomy aspect to his life, the music on here, full of darkness, is still full of a lot of hope. And where a lot of people were finding some excitement in the city, it sounds like Dennis is just wanting to break away. There is still that ecological mindset that the Beach Boys had infused in the 70s. He has this environmental mindset. In River Song, he is obviously trying to break away from the city. Oftentimes, the songs are about driving away from situations, driving away from his hometown. And I think that there is a lot to be said about his mindset at the time. He was trying to break away and create his own identity away from the Beach Boys. So that's like a little bit more thoughts on the music. It is definitely one of those albums that has a lot of different types of styles. It sounds of its time and outside of its time all at once. I think the glittering production keeps it in there, but however, it separates itself a lot from other albums of the time. I would say he almost goes in line with Warren Zevon and Tom Waits as far as his particular sound. His vocals are raw, ragged, and sound very on the wire, like he's about to punch someone. And it is captivating. Each song on here is a very lovely moment, and it goes from jaunty, ebullient joy to horrible, depressing, and dire. I would also have to say I'm gonna go with some track highlights here. I love the opening track of the River Song. I have the lyric sheet here too, the insert, and the lyrics on here are phenomenal. You know it's rough getting around this place, so crowded I can hardly breathe. You can only see about a block or two in LA, that's the truth. I'm looking for some country life, some kicking room, no more city life. And I think that a lot of people are starting to feel that too with the COVID-19 situation. We are all just trying to get away, get on a river, get out of feeling so claustrophobic and on top of each other. Pacific Ocean Blues is a wonderful track. It's probably the closest to sounding like a Beach Boys song. Lots of bouncing harmonies within it, lots of rollicking voices that accompany his own, and basically it's really, even though it sounds light, it's about how terribly we're treating our oceans. And I think that it's a very interesting song to listen to. It's almost like it's talking about why the Pacific Ocean is blue, almost in a sadness. And I find that to be very intriguing to think about. And then Rainbows is probably one of my favorite songs on here, one of the moments of true hope on the album. And I love the lyric that people love to have a good time. They're dancing in the golden light. I'll get you feeling fine. Oh honey, hold me. I want you to feel you I want to feel you close to me. I want to know the funky things. You mean everything to me. And for an album that's full of a lot of introspective, internal fighting of demons, I think that there's a lot of real beauty to be found there. I'm going to include a little snippet of each song right here that I just spoke about. If I had to have any real criticisms of this album, again, it's that it is a little disparate all over the place as far as there's no true theme that carries it through. He seems to be bouncing from idea to idea to idea, but maybe that was just the excitement of being on his own, trying new things, being his own artist. And there's something really wonderful about that, just seeing a person grow into their own type of individual and into their own type of taste. So that would be my only critique. To me, this is a 5 out of 5 album. I love, love, love this record, and would recommend it to anybody who, even if you're not a fan of the Beach Boys, it doesn't really sound like a Beach Boys album, you're going to really like this record. So, phenomenal album. What do you guys think of Dennis Wilson's Pacific Ocean Blues? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Let me know in the comments below. And I hope that you guys have a great day on your own personal oasis. Cheers.